An evolutionary psychologist spent months analyzing the behavior of more than 500 prostitutes. He wasn't interested in morality. He didn't want to write a treatise on the profession. Jeffrey Miller wanted to answer a question most men never ask themselves. What really controls female desire? And what he discovered should disturb any man who still believes attraction is won through effort, kindness, or good intentions. The study was published in 2007 in the journal Evolution and Human Behavior, and the numbers don't lie. Miller and his team from the University of New Mexico collected data from 5,300 work shifts and discovered a brutal pattern. During the fertile period of the cycle, these women earned an average of $335 per shift. Outside this window, the value dropped to $260, and women who used contraceptives showed no variation at all. The money didn't change because of technique, appearance, or friendliness. It changed because something invisible was operating, something neither they nor the clients could name. Most men will hear this and think it has nothing to do with their lives, that it's just laboratory science, that real women function differently. This is the first mistake. David Buss, one of the world's leading evolutionary psychology researchers, has dedicated more than 3 decades to studying human attraction across 37 different cultures. And his conclusion is uncomfortable. The mechanisms that govern female desire are universal, operate below consciousness, and don't ask permission to act. You're being evaluated all the time by criteria no one ever taught you. And until you understand what these criteria are, you will keep losing to men who may not even be better than you, but who emit the right signals without even knowing why. This video isn't about blaming women. It's not about victimizing men. It's about revealing the rules of a game you're already playing, whether you want to or not. Because the truth is simple. As long as you think attraction is about what you say, about the gifts you give, about how hard you try to please, you will remain in the dark. Female desire doesn't respond to logic, it responds to signals, evolutionary signals, biological signals, signals your body emits before you even open your mouth. And today, you will learn what they are. Chapter 1, the hidden cycle that controls female attraction. Have you ever had the experience of meeting a woman, feeling the connection happening, everything flowing, and suddenly, without warning, she went cold, stopped responding with the same energy, started taking longer with messages, became distant without explanation? And you were left there, replaying every conversation in your head, trying to figure out where you went wrong, what you said wrong, what you did wrong. The answer may be simpler and more disturbing than you imagined. Maybe you didn't do anything wrong. Maybe you showed up at the wrong window. Jeffrey Miller's study revealed something most men don't know. Female desire is not constant. It fluctuates. It changes. It follows a biological rhythm that operates independently of her will. During the fertile phase of the menstrual cycle, the female brain enters a state of hypersensitivity to detect specific signs of masculinity. Testosterone, facial symmetry, social dominance, deep voice, firm posture. She doesn't choose to feel attracted to these traits. Her limbic system, the most primitive part of the brain, makes that choice before consciousness has any participation. A 2004 study published in Proceedings of the Royal Society, B, confirmed this pattern. Women in their fertile period showed significant preference for more masculinized faces and deeper voices. Outside this period, the preference changed. They began to value softer traits, more symmetrical but less aggressive faces, more moderate voices. The same man can spark intense desire one week and total indifference the following week. Not because he changed, but because her biological filter changed. This information destroys an illusion many men carry. The illusion that if he does everything right, if he's attentive enough, present enough, interesting enough, the attraction will remain stable. It won't. Female attraction is cyclical by nature, and the man who doesn't understand this lives on an emotional roller coaster he doesn't control, reacting to each of her fluctuations as if it were a verdict on his worth. When she's cold, he falls into despair. When she's hot, he clings on in fear of losing her. This reactive pattern is exactly what kills attraction in the long run. What separates the man who is discarded from the man who is remembered isn't the intensity of his interest. It's the consistency of his presence. The high-value man doesn't adjust his energy based on her emotional thermometer. He doesn't inflate when she shows interest, and doesn't shrink when she distances herself. He remains the same, firm, centered, unshakable. Because he understands that her fluctuation isn't about him, it's about biology. And when the window of receptivity opens again, and it will open, he needs to be positioned as the same force that sparked her initial interest. Reactive men beg for attention. Consistent men command respect. And respect, over time, transforms into desire. Chapter 2, what she's really looking for, without knowing it. Before you even say your first word, she's already evaluating you. Not by what you wear, not by the car you drive, not by the watch on your wrist. She's reading signals you don't even know you're emitting. The angle of your shoulders, the firmness of your gaze, the rhythm of your breathing, the speed at which you look away when she holds eye contact. The body speaks a language the conscious mind doesn't control, and her body listens to that language before any conversation begins. The most common mistake men make isn't talking too much or too little. It's transmitting neediness. When you enter an interaction seeking approval, when every word you choose passes through the filter of how she'll react, when you calibrate your behavior to not displease her, your entire body changes. Your shoulders curve slightly forward. Your voice rises at the end of sentences, turning statements into requests for permission. Your gaze breaks first. You don't notice, but she notices, not consciously. Her limbic system registers these signals as indicators of low value in the social hierarchy. An attraction doesn't flow downward in the hierarchy, it flows upward. David Buss documented in research conducted across 37 countries that women, regardless of culture, religion, or social class, prioritize the same masculine traits: ability to acquire resources, willingness to invest, and indicators of good genetics. But the most important discovery isn't what they look for, it's how they evaluate. They don't evaluate by what you say you have, they evaluate by what you demonstrate yourself to be. A 2016 study conducted at the University of Texas revealed that women can detect variations in male testosterone levels just by smell, without seeing the face, without hearing the voice, just by body odor. You are being judged through sensory channels you didn't even know existed. Everything you've heard up to this point is just the surface. There are deeper layers of female behavior that most men will spend their entire lives without accessing. Attraction patterns that operate at the instinct level, psychological triggers that awaken desire before reason has any chance to interfere. The seduction code was built to reveal exactly these mechanisms. It's not a compilation of tips, it's a system based on real psychology, the neuroscience of desire and power dynamics that have been tested in the real world. Techniques you won't find anywhere else on the internet because they weren't created to entertain, they were created to transform. The link is in the description or the pinned comment. If you want to stop reacting and start commanding, this is the door. Chapter 3. The truth. No one has the courage to tell. Rejection isn't your biggest enemy, what you tell yourself after it is. Every time a woman loses interest, a conversation dies, an opportunity slips away, the male mind enters protection mode. She didn't deserve me. Women only want rich guys. The problem is, I'm too nice. These narratives function as anesthesia. They relieve the pain in the moment, but every time you repeat one of them, you're building an invisible prison. A prison where you're always the victim and never responsible. Where circumstances are always unfair and you never need to change. The truth few men are willing to face is simple. If you're being consistently ignored, rejected, or placed in the friend category, there's a pattern in you causing it. It's not bad luck. It's not feminism. It's not the current generation of women. It's a set of signals you emit repeatedly that communicates low value in the sexual marketplace. This isn't a moral judgment. It's a strategic diagnosis. And until you accept this diagnosis, you'll keep looking for external culprits while the results stay the same. Geoffrey Miller's study illustrates this dynamic brutally. The prostitutes who participated in the research didn't consciously change their behavior during the fertile period. They didn't know they were earning more. They didn't use different techniques. They didn't try harder. What changed was something operating below the radar of consciousness: pheromones, facial microexpressions, body energy. And the clients responded to these signals by paying more without being able to explain why. The transfer to your life is direct. Attraction isn't about conscious performance. It's not about memorizing phrases. It's not about following scripts. It's about what you emit when you're not trying. And that only changes when your internal structure changes. A study published in 2013 in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology brought a discovery that should change the way you think about attraction. The researchers identified that the most determining factor in initial attraction wasn't physical appearance, financial status, or demonstrated intelligence. It was the emotional state one person could provoke in the other. You can have all the attributes on paper and still leave her bored. You can have fewer objective resources and make her feel alive. What you awaken in her matters more than what you possess. And what you awaken in her is a direct reflection of what you carry within yourself. Think about the man she chases. He's not constantly available. He doesn't respond to messages in seconds, as if he were waiting for his phone to vibrate. He doesn't cancel commitments to fit her into his schedule. He doesn't declare feelings before receiving any sign of reciprocity. He shows interest without showing desperation. He makes her feel special when they're together without begging for attention when they're apart. This man isn't playing games. He genuinely has a life that doesn't revolve around her. And this reality manifests in every interaction, every message, every meeting. The difference between him and the man who is ignored isn't in the level of interest. It's in the demonstration of self-worth. It's in the silent certainty that he would be fine with or without her. The exercise that will start reprogramming your posture is simple but requires brutal honesty. In your next interaction with a woman, observe yourself like a scientist observes an experiment. Don't try to impress, don't try to perform, just notice. How is your posture right now? Is your voice steady or rising at the end of sentences? Are you holding eye contact or looking away first? Are you reacting to her mood or maintaining your own emotional center? This self-awareness exercise is the first step to getting off the autopilot that has been sabotaging your results without you realizing. Because you can't change what you can't see, and most men spend their entire lives blind to their own patterns. Conclusion: the game. You didn't know you were playing. Geoffrey Miller didn't study 500 prostitutes to shock academia. He studied because he knew that there, in that environment, stripped of romanticism and illusions, the real forces of attraction would be exposed in their rawest form. And what he found confirms what the most successful men with women have always known intuitively. Female desire is not a rational choice. It's a biological response to specific signals. Signals you are emitting right now, at this moment, whether you're aware of it or not. Carl Jung once wrote that until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. This phrase carries the weight of everything said in this video. Until you understand the patterns you're emitting, you will keep attributing your failures to luck, timing, the wrong type of woman. You will keep believing that one day, magically, things will change. That the right woman will appear and will like you just the way you are. This is the most comfortable lie a man can tell himself. And it's also the most destructive. The reality is that you're in a market, a sexual marketplace, where value is communicated through subtle signals most men never learn to control. The posture of your body when you enter an environment, the tone of your voice when you talk to her, the speed at which you respond to messages, the ease with which you give up your plans. Each of these details is being registered by her evaluation system, not consciously, but relentlessly. And the sum of these signals determines which category you'll be placed in. High-value man, or just another one in line. The knowledge you acquired today is worth nothing if it remains just information. Information without application is entertainment. You can watch 100 videos about attraction, read 20 books about female psychology, and still return to the same patterns the next time a beautiful woman crosses your path. The difference between the man who watches and the man who transforms is in the deliberate action after the insight. It's in the decision to observe yourself with honesty, to identify the behaviors that communicate neediness, to replace them with a presence that communicates value. You made it to the end of this video. That already places you in a different category. Most give up in the middle. Most prefer the comfort of ignorance to the discomfort of truth. But knowing the rules still isn't the same as mastering the game. The seduction code exists to close this gap, to transform theoretical understanding into practical skill, to give you access to attraction techniques based on behavioral psychology, the neuroscience of desire, and power dynamics that have been refined through real-world testing. These aren't generic tips you find everywhere. They're advanced mechanisms of influence and magnetism that operate directly on the female evaluation system. The link is in the description and in the pinned comment. The information is available. What you do with it defines who you become.